We're getting a little bit of a late start, sorry. Because we missed everybody last week, correct? Um, Welcome. All right, good morning. Thank you all for coming to Art with Liz. And thank you to the Hoboken Library for allowing us to have these fabulous hybrid art classes. I'm delighted to say hi to all of you out there on YouTube or on Zoom, or if you see this show later in the video form, welcome, 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 and welcome to all of you who are here in person in the beautifully renovated space here at the Hoboken Public Library. We are beginning a new month. That means we're having a new theme. And our theme for this month will be French-speaking artists. Why, you might ask? The reason for that is because not only do we have our Independence Day coming up at the end of this week, I'm celebrating France's independence. Good morning, welcome. Because they were our allies during the Revolutionary War. In fact, General Lafayette loved the United States tremendously. He said that Jersey City, believe it or not, was second only to Paris in its beauty. So there you go. We will be starting with the great French artist Georges Braque. And Braque was such an incredible artist. Unfortunately, he lived in the shadow. There's a seat right there, John, at the end of that table, next to Rantika. This is Alice's seat, if you would not mind, John. Alice needs to sit there. Thank you so much. Georges Braque achieved fame because he was an extraordinary artist, but he has been overshadowed by Picasso. There are many people who believe he copied Picasso's work. Totally untrue. And we're going to talk about that during our slideshow. As always, we are going to start with a short slideshow. We're going to look at Braque's work. We're going to discuss it. And then I have a project for us to do. Those of you who are at home, you're going to be able to do the same project. If you don't like the project that I'm offering to you, you can always create your own. But my hope is that you're going to be inspired by the slideshow and discussion that are happening now. Good morning. All right, Georges Braque. Georges Braque was French. He was born May 1882. He was a major 20th century French painter, collagist, draftsman, printmaker, and sculptor. His most notable contributions were in his alliance with Fauvism. Those of you who are my veteran students, you should remember the term Fauvism. Fauve is a French word that means beast. The Fauvists were revolutionary in the fact that they used bright, glaring color. And they got this nickname, Fauvist, because people thought it was kind of beastly and unusual to use these bright colors in their work. Prior to the Fauvists, color was more muted in the work of artists. So he started working and learning from the Fauvists from 1905, and then he played a huge role in the development of Cubism. And I'm going to talk a lot about Cubism during the slideshow. Braque, between 1908 and 1912, became closely linked and associated with his colleague, Pablo Picasso. We've all heard of him, correct? Okay, good. Their respective Cubist works were hard to tell apart, indistinguishable for many years. But they were very different. Braque was a very quiet, introspective artist. Picasso, on the other hand, was very brash and rebellious and inventive. Their work was divergent and went in completely different directions during their career. Braque stayed very close to home and stayed very loyal to Cubism and the basic ideas of Cubism that he was instrumental in inventing. And we're going to talk about that and those ideas during our slideshow. So this is an example of his early work and then his later work. When he became older, he was allied with the Fauvists in his early career, as I mentioned, and he loved these bright colors. He was born, again, May 13th, 1882, and Heather, I'm looking at you, correct my pronunciation if you can, Argenteuil in Val d'Oise. He grew up in Le Havre and trained to be a house painter and decorator like his father and grandfather. He also studied artistic painting during the evenings at the École Supérieure d'Art and Design at Le Havre, Rouen. And from 1897 to 1899. Then in Paris, he apprenticed with a decorator and was awarded a certificate in 1902. The next year, he attended the Académie Humbert, also in Paris, and painted there until 1904. And there he met two famous artists, Marie Laurencin and Francis Picabia. So you can see again the very bright colors, his familiarity with what the Fauves were doing. And he had originally been a landscape artist, but he fell in love with still life because he was a very tactile artist. He liked to touch things. So for him, still life was such a wonderful thing for him to do because he could touch the objects that he was looking at and become very familiar with them and understand their shape and their volume and their form, which is what led him to the invention of Cubism. So his earliest works were what we call impressionistic, and he exhibited with the Fauves, the Beasts, and he was working alongside people like Matisse and Derain. He used brilliant colors to represent emotional response. And what do you think? Does this, I heard people go, there was a big sigh when I put this picture up on the screen. Do you get a good feeling, bad feeling from this picture? What kind of response do you have to this work?
Pleasant.
Pleasant. Can you say why, Eileen? Soothing. Is there something about the colors or shapes? What gives you that soothing reaction?
It's the color.
Okay. The colors are,
They're not bright.
they're not that bright, but they, for that period of time, they're quite unusual, particularly that green, and there's a bit of orange in the background. All right, I like that, soothing. Anybody else? Okay. He worked closely with other artists like Raoul Dufy, who we also have talked about in this class, and he started traveling throughout Europe. Okay, let's move on to another slide. All right. In 1907, he became part of a retrospective at the Salon d'Automne, and here he became greatly affected by the avant-garde artists of Paris, which resulted in the beginning of Cubism. He became heavily influenced by another artist we've talked about, Paul Cézanne. And if you remember our discussion of Cézanne, Cézanne was the artist, the Impressionist artist, who started breaking shapes down into their simplest form. He too was a master of still life. Remember the pictures we looked at of fruits? He did multiple pictures of apples and oranges. Hi, guys. You know what? We can set you up at that back table, the supply table, Alina, but there's very few supplies. We can move them to the window ledge once the slideshow's over. Oh, thanks, Laura. And he started simplifying objects into their simplest shape. So an orange, for example, became a very simple circle. And this idea, this concept that Cézanne started using, became a big influence on Braque. And he started creating images like this from 1908 to 1912. They reflected a new interest in geometry, where objects were becoming simple shapes and forms. He also started becoming interested in something called simultaneous perspective, which meant he liked looking at objects from all different sides. And he tried to show that on the canvas all at once. So instead of just showing an object from one side, he was trying to show it from all sides at once. Does that make sense? It looks like this. So this is proto-Cubism. This is the beginning of Cubism. This is a combination of the bright colors of Fauvism and the simplified shapes of Cubism. So you see a bit of the influence of Matisse, the king of Fauvism, one might say, the founding father of Fauvism, with those bright colors and the patterns, but also the influence of Cézanne in the flat, simple geometric shapes that that Braque was becoming interested in. So he started a very intense study of the effects of light and perspective and the technical means that painters use to represent these effects. And he started to question the rules and standards of artistic ideas. He frequently reduced an architectural structure to a geometric form approximating a cube, rendering its shading so that it looked both flat and three-dimensional by fragmenting the image. So that was a transitional picture. This image is starting to look more cubistic. the shapes are starting to look less representational and more geometric. You can see his interest in geometry becoming stronger and stronger in this kind of picture. Now, this is actually a collage. He started becoming interested in collage early in his career. He was the inventor of something called papier collé, which was a kind of collage that was paper only. At that point in time, collage was about gluing anything to paper, any kind of found object. But Braque started only using paper. And collage is a French word that means gluing things together. It's just a fancy word that means gluing things together. If you notice in the middle of this image, there is lettering. So the early collage artists loved using newsprint. It was easy to find and there was lots of it and it was cheap. So they loved using newsprint. They loved using things with words on it. And they particularly loved this specific newspaper, Le Journal. And you see those letters and those words frequently in both Braque and Picasso's collage work. You're going to see the palette, the colors that Braque used at this point in his career get very muted and subdued. He starts tending to use more of the earth tones and less of the brighter fauve colors. In 1909, he began to work closely with Pablo Picasso, who also had started using a proto-cubist style. However, he was influenced by Gauguin, another artist we've talked about, also Cézanne, but an additional thing, African masks and Iberian sculpture. But Braque was only interested in what Cézanne had been doing, this idea of multiple perspectives. So if you compare, now this is a direct quote, a comparison of the works of Picasso and Braque during 1908 reveals that the effect of his encounter with Picasso was more to accelerate, to speed up, and intensify Braque's exploration of Cézanne's ideas rather than to divert his thinking in any essential way. So he didn't copy Picasso, but working side by side with him helped him to accelerate his process. He loved using these everyday objects, ordinary objects. This he was really committed to. Picasso was much more animated in his approach. Braque was about celebrating contemplation and meditation through his work. So this is the larger image of the picture. The first picture that I showed was a close-up of this larger piece. Say again, Diana. The knife and the words le jour, but it's a little blurrier. Yes. And you can start seeing that multiple perspective. You can start seeing how he's looking at the objects turn in a variety of directions and how he's trying to portray those different directions through the shapes and the way they are formed. Like, look at the legs of the table, how twisted they are, as if the table almost is spinning. But that's about how he's trying to see the table from all sides at once. I absolutely love Braque's work. Any comments? He's one of my all-time faves. So Picasso and Braque worked side by side. They went through a period of time where you couldn't tell their work apart, but they were not copying each other. They were inspiring each other. And through their collaboration, Cubism was born. And Cubism was one of the greatest inspiration for all of modern art. From their working together, their side-by-side inspirational work, modern art, the art that we know today, was born. Both the artists produced paintings of monochromatic color and complex patterns of faceted form, and this is now termed analytic cubism. Hello, folks. And this is Alice's seat, Daniel. So we'll make room for you. Just find a chair. In 1912, Braque invented papier-collé. And this is probably Braque's most famous work. This is an example of papier-collé. You can see the JOU letters from the journal, newspaper. And it's quite a wonderful image. You can see the fragmented, faceted geometric form. He's really let go of trying to do representational work. He only used paper except for the braid around the outside that he used to frame it with. It does look like rattan, but as far as my notes, it says it's paper.
Yeah, wow. So I'm a little confused about some of these.
Okay, hit me with it. I'll try and answer.
Because some of his work have the same titles as some of Picasso's work, and they're about the same subjects. So they seem to be painting some of the same still lifes.
So they went through this period of time.
When I look at this one, for example, I get Picasso's name.
Oh.
So there seem to be multiple versions of paintings with the same title.
Yes.
They work closely together. They saw each other every day.
So
there's some confusion about which is.
In 1911, Georges Braque and Pablo Picasso painted side by side in Céret in the French Pyrenees, each artist producing paintings that are difficult, sometimes virtually impossible, to distinguish from those of the other. So there is confusion.
Yeah, like if I look at this image, Picasso's name comes up on multiple websites. So I don't know if Braque did his own version of this. I have seen.
So this one came up as Braque for me. So
yeah. So
forgive me if it is a Picasso. I stand corrected.
They might be. Because they did do like some of the same.
They did absolutely sitting side by side with the same still life objects in front of them. I think this is Braque. I've seen this in the museum with Braque's name.
Okay.
Almost every
the journal, because it was a newspaper, very popular in Paris at that time, and all of the Cubist artists liked that newspaper, and they used the letters. They cut out the letters from that newspaper and used it in their collage. They would cut out the letters and glue them into their pictures.
Let's take a look at this one. So this is the Met Museum's website.
And it says Picasso.
Yes. So I don't know.
It looks exactly the same. This could be Picasso, it could be Braque. It proves the fact that their work is indistinguishable from each other.
They were very close friends, and they saw each other every day to look at each other's work.
They did, and they literally worked side by side. And Ken brings up something really important. On the internet, you have to be very careful.
Yeah, especially with the AI overuse.
Yes.
It's constantly making mistakes.
You have to be very careful. And I have been wrong before. And I'm happy for people to find my errors. I have no problem with that. All right. So here you see, this is a really incredible example of papier-collé. And you can see a beautiful example of Cubism. So he probably started out with the guitar. That was probably his starting subject. And he has looked at it from a variety of angles, and he has simplified it into geometric form, shape, texture. He's cut it down to its basic elements of art, and he has created this cut paper collage to make this very analytic cubist image. He has reduced everything into geometric schema. So on March 25th, 1909, an art critic, Louis Vaucel, used the term bizarrerie cubique, which means cubic oddities. And that was the beginning of the term cubism. Actually, it was first pronounced in 1911 with reference to artists exhibiting at the Salon des Indépendants. And then it was widely used. Picasso and Braque did not adopt it initially. Art historian Ernst Gombrich described Cubism as the most radical attempt to stamp out ambiguity and to enforce one reading of the picture, that of a man-made construction, a colored canvas. And then Cubism spread widely throughout Paris and then Europe. Braque's career then, unfortunately, became interrupted. He was severely injured during World War I. At the Battle of Carency, he suffered temporary blindness. And it was years before he started working again. He isolated himself, although he did stay in contact with Picasso. He resumed painting in late 1916, and he started moderating the harsh quality of the abstraction of Cubism and started picking up on using color again. He also started adding the human figure into his later work. So this is a total collage work. Another great example of papier-collé. You can see that he's using found paper. So for example, the bottle on the right, this is corrugated cardboard. So he's doing things like cutting up cardboard from cardboard boxes. He's using found papers, maybe stuff that he's picked up off the street even. So collage is gaining in acceptance as a high art form. Matisse was a master of that. in his later career as well, as we know. Again, more prints, newsprints. This is a collage with drawing. You can see he's used charcoal on this piece as well as collage paper. This is a later work, I believe, where he's again introducing color. More of the newsprints. This one we know is Braque. You can see his signature, Ken. In later life, he relocated to Normandy on the seacoast. He continued to paint still life. He died August 31st, 1963 in Paris. And his work, of course, is in most major museums throughout the world. I love this one. Look how he used the corrugated cardboard to show the strings on the guitar. Just love this piece. And I'm going to end with a long quote from Braque. Braque believed that an artist experienced beauty, quote, in terms of volume, of line, of mass, of weight, and through that beauty, he interprets his subjective impression, end quote. He described, quote, objects shattered into fragments as a way of getting closest to the object. Fragmentation helped me to establish space and movement in space. I'm going to just whip through some of these now. Love, love, love this one. This is a still life that kind of has a landscape feeling to it. He even found papers that look like wood grain. This is a famous Braque piece. It is signed, Ken. It's called Le Pipe because of the pipe. Le Pipe is the French word for pipe. Actually, I think this last one is a painting. It's not a collage. All right. Any thoughts, questions, ideas before I give you the assignment for today?
It's interesting how the painting, it's like a drawing that becomes a painting, becomes a collage, almost becomes like a sculpture. And of course, some of the collage are kind of sculptural, you know, cast shadows.
Yes.
I can't tell if they're
there is quite a bit of form, and he did do sculpture as well. Yeah. There is a lot of form in his work.
It's almost like blurring the categories in an interesting way.
I agree. Ken said, I don't know if folks at home could hear that. Ken said that Braque blurs the category between painting, collage, and sculpture. And I agree.
Yeah, and drawing.
And drawing, yes.
And it's kind of, you know, it's like the drawing is the most abstract, and then it becomes realized in that more, in the deeper colors. Like you see that, what is it, frame, the frame?
Yes, where he changes the drawing into the actual
color, right?
Piece of wall. I think that's a wall.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yes. So it's very surreal as well. So here we have an intersection of many different styles of art, many
Mhm.
different categories of art as well as all of the elements of art going on at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just an incredible work of art.
It's like we're not in Kansas anymore, but then, but then
We're not in Kansas
it
anymore.
ends up being even more surreal.
Yes. All right, so I want to make sure we have time to do our own thing today. That's what we're all here for. We are going to do papier collé. I have brought in all different kinds of paper. You're going to go for it. I did not bring in still life objects, but I'm sure if you dig deep into your bags, you can find one or two interesting objects to use as your starting point. There are pencils. There is large white paper that I'm asking you to use that as your base, your foundational piece of paper to start working on. There is cardboard, magazines, newspaper, some of that metallic paper, and Elmer's glue. There are cups to pour a little bit of Elmer's glue into. There are sticks for you to apply the glue with. You have every supply that you need in order to create your collage work today. So you can start with some kind of simple still life, or you can do an abstraction. You can just think about geometric shapes, organize them on your page, start with a simple sketch, and then create your collage. Any questions before you begin? All right, people here have already started, so let's go for it. Folks at home, I know you have piles of paper, old catalogs, junk mail that you probably have piling up in a corner of your house. Let's go to work. I will put a picture up for people to copy, should you wish. Copying other artists' work is a great way to learn. I did not bring in any colored media today because Brock, for most of his life, did not use a lot of color. It's interesting that after he had severe head injury, he went back to using color. I have found the reverse to be true in my personal experience. Yep. I many years ago had severe head injury, and now I only use earth tones in my work. Oh, thank you, John. How lovely.
I love the just the shape.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Liz.
Thank you for thinking of me.
I just heard you had a
I did. It was a long time ago. I've completely recovered. But it wasn't fun at the time.
I can identify because when I was in my accident,
Yes. It's not fun. All right, let's move on though. I don't want to dwell on that.
but the most important thing is we have our Saturdays.
We do.
At least we think we do.
Yeah, no. All right, I'm here to help. I'll be walking around. Ken, I'm so grateful to you that you checked on that. I will go to my grave believing that was a rock. Doesn't really matter. It's a beautiful piece of art.
That brought us from a different mother.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think rock would have belonged. They never really had a disagreement. That's incredible. Two artists in particular. After the head injury, then I separated for a while. Although they did see each other long. That's the left.
Yeah, probably became more isolated after that.
He did.
So I wonder how, that lingering something.
And they never, Robert used to share any of their conversations. I guess so into it.
Well, I read that claim that they were so deep into their conversations, they didn't think anyone else would understand what they were
Oh,
talking
that
about.
is, yeah.
So they might have
So
gotten
you
very,
have a lot
very.
of that.
Oh, no, I just read about.
Oh,
it
you
more
just
than-
read?
Yeah, I just looked at his file. Yeah, it's like. No, I've never heard of one. So
It's one of my top 10 favorite artists. And his work is quite small.
Oh, really? Oh.
It's always disappointing to me. They're small and intense. You go together really close.
Oh. Interesting.
And so it's fascinating. It's the they went in such focus and direction. Picasso's work after with Rob it's much more courageous.
More extroverted.
Yeah. Extrovert. Ran. And every their studio that Picasso went to. Anything can be found laying around outside his studio. Like the one place we went to was in ceramics. And he fell in love with clay and broken shards of rock. And then started doing sculpture, which was something and it opened up just something happens with creativity.
Yeah.
Like staying close to home, it's much more of an intellect.
One more inward looking.
Yeah.
And Picasso was the outward.
And well, Picasso was about make and move. He was very much more physical. Yeah. But together, they really invented. Modern art is so different.
Wow.
So you can just tear the paper, you don't need scissors. No, there aren't enough scissors to go around, so there. And if you want to look at for myself. So let me show you what I mean. Did you get scissors? No, there aren't enough scissors. You can tear your thing. There aren't enough scissors to go around. I have seen some here. Here are scissors. I don't know who to get them. Oh, I don't.
Give it to Alex. If you, yeah, don't give it to Alex. Or look here, Alex.
Right, I'm helping someone, whoever's calling. I'll be there. Okay. Prepare yourself one person at a time. That's a great idea from Alice. We make it so that every other person has a pair of scissors. That way we could share. Could we figure that out? If there are two people next to each other with scissors, could we move them there along? I'll make that happen in a minute. So. Oh, like great. Yeah, we all cutting stuff and glue and stuff. Oh, as a starting. Yes. That makes it important. But you should drive around. Okay. So, anyone who's having difficulty getting started, you can start with a simple conversation on shapes and then fill in the shape. You can start with a simple composition. Oh. Yeah. All right, so none of the people on this side have scissors, so let's make this for you. You guys have any scissors? Yeah, we do. Okay, you are glad. Yes, you are glad. You guys can share. And
You don't need, they share.
you don't need them. I'm just gonna follow. I'm the follow.
If they need to call.
Buy scissors.
You have so many.
Yeah, they put this in the. Oh.
I got it.
And my slavey makes me.
I don't know, I'm positive about that, because I didn't know if they were gonna be so interesting. They say you can start this. I might have worked those scissors.
I stand with
All right. And you know, you can rip the cardboard because it's corrugated. On the inside is the textured surface.
Yeah, but it's sort of interesting.
I love the corrugation.
It's
It's my fave thing.
But you know, when Brack was doing all of it, it was probably the last
So
stuff around, you know, I mean, we're now.
Well, there was probably a lot of stuff, but different. So they didn't have the kind of shiny paper we have in magazines. But there was a lot of stuff, you know, cigarette packets.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
whatever. They had packaging, just not the kind of packaging we have today.
two or an eye? Can I take the eye or you want the eye?
I'll pick one, you take the other.
Yeah.
Giving up on putting my sweat.
It's blurry.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to learn to love it. But it's not, you know, yeah. Serendipity.
Yeah.
Well,
How are you?
I'm good, how are you? Oh.
See, nobody's happy, either complaining, it's divided.
No one's ever satisfied with what they got. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the friend going. It might be like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm. It's a little too. I know it was a bird. Okay.
It is.
That's. Not fancy cars. Hey, idea.
What? What you say? I'm saying, oh, yeah, it's scissors, but it's like smaller. I'm making all things for that. I'm gonna bring my.
Yeah. Maybe you need a slow.
Oh. Is that George Washington?
And the leather's going to
Yeah, I think so.
just shapes. Think about the letters, it's shapes. They don't have to be words.
All right.
I mean, you can start. Oh, okay.
I will use some. I know, but I somehow think nobody else is getting old with me. The babies, yeah.
Yeah. So blends and blurs together different scenes from
I know, I got the letters. Okay.
Whoever you can do this deal for you. You really not sick.
In a way, it's terrific. And my son, they can start building a life. You can offer your. This is really bad. I would start voting down, really. I would forget. Oh. I'll get it. Oh.
That's good. No, the fact that you're rich, it makes it look better. I know, that's why she said it, and I got it, because it makes it look worse, like it's not worse. I don't mean worse, I mean, I am more powerful. Yeah, yeah. I should.
Turn my phone on. Sorry.
Oh, they're so cute. Sandals are adorable. Yeah.
Thank you. They're made from recycled tires.
I'm gonna go like in the water, looks like crayon, without my glasses. Yeah, crayons.
The company is called K.
Oh, that's an old shoe company. I mean,
It is.
different.
And it's made from recycled tires.
Oh.
I have them in black. The shoes I usually wear are these, and they're solid black.
These are fun.
They're fun and they're so comfortable.
They were really soft to walk with.
They're really fun.
You don't feel it, you're like,
They're like sneakers only wide open. I should have worn it during Pride Month. Folks at home, you're good? We're creating and happy, and folks online, any questions? You can always put in the chat box. We've lost our long distance following. Laura, remember? Used to have people from the US.
Remember relationships. You know, I used to- No, no, it didn't work. So I'm sorry I took it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, actually. Oh, man. I was looking at this.
And it's all stuff.
They weren't honest. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Are you Brock or are you Brock? Who's the expert?
We do have to have.
Do what?
We're gonna
I just play with it. Now, your interests don't have to be livable. You don't have to tell a story or an idea. With rock, it's all about color, line, shape, texture. All right, everybody gets that. You don't have to really show things. He obliterated the thing. Even though he was honoring the thing is no longer there. Everybody get that? Yes. Yes. A mural.
computer. Action, yeah, guys have butterflies in some. Cheering on with people. What's his name now?
No, I'm not taking, I'm just looking for words.
What? They acquitted him? Gotta be kidding.
You picked the freaking quick.
I know, I know.
Whole thing is got serious. I'm abandoning after it. Yeah. It is painful. I'm gonna go back. There's no advertising. No what? This is the whole section. Yeah. It's here, once it's. Sure.
Oh.
Oh. Last week. They said it's good to take all the.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I like it.
No,
That, I like it. Yeah. But the letters can be covered up. Yeah. The letters don't have to just be ready. You look at the picture I have on the screen. It's supposed to be all letters. Black or black. The letters, you can cover them up. Cover them. Well, maybe we're expose the corrugation. You want to expose the corrugation. You can try to rip it apart. Well, I mean, yeah, see, but it's hard. You need one. Hey, how about it all? There you go. I mean, waste of one. No. Are you going to use that? Yeah. What? One of those stick. They made this in Brooklyn. Utrecht manufacturing, Brooklyn, New York. Well, that's good. Utrecht. Utrecht is a city in Holland, but I guess it's a, you know, it used to be an art store in the village or something. Maybe, I don't know. And the letters. If you're not. Oh, the other side. What was the first? Oh, really? They're not in it. The picture doesn't tell a story. Not about shape and color. So it doesn't have to be about restaurants and food. It's about the shape and color. Beautiful again. Be read as words, right? The letters are shaped. They're not meant to be read as words. They're covering you have a lot going on, so you want to start simple. I would start with the cardboard border. If I can say that it's possible. Well, I'm saying to go back. You could put it over, but even the second. It's a little bit much. There. I take that one. Oh, yeah, this is all already. Now, it's interesting. I hope so. This smaller thing. Yeah. Flat color, not so. I can think that some of these Asian babies. It's in oh yeah. Yeah. I feel for you. I am yeah, because brings in mind what the yeah. Like next, at the moment, next round. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. He's talking about sending him out. Oh, so yeah, that's just. Is that? No, yeah, no, that's not. Depends on what spending is fine. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Someone will talk about something. Yeah. Exactly. The last. Yes, that's delighted. That's not a signature. That's why I asked you to. Yeah. You don't notice it. Reds. Passions. But I'm richer in eight or two. That's it. Now I know where, that's why you start over this over again. But I just, and, you know, the drawing. But not lovely, but there's so many things, my mom wishes to say you could do that. So why is there only this? Then how does that feel? That's the question. But what is the answer?
Deep inside.
Sure, but people are extinguishing, you know, like substances, or they could just loving nature and animals and up. But this guy's got butterflies in his stomach and drinking too many more tea. Now, what I'm doing is somehow yes, ideas. You can see how the larger non-color are helping to unify. Well. So keep playing. I still have some needs on. Yeah, I still have a good 11:59. So I would keep playing. Make some decisions. Maybe in 5 to 10 minutes, start coding. I like your goal. A little bit more. Once you do these, or some big shapes down, then you could ask more of the goal on top. Yeah, thank you. Good play. That's my subject. Keep playing. Right? Very fun. Oh, you can make. That's not after every meeting. No. So I have to add some letters, like. You do not have to. Oh. Not every cubist garage has words.
It is, it's.
Are you talking to me again?
Yes, I think some of that everybody. This one's the whole, no, this song, I haven't figured that out. No, let me see, okay. There's more here. No, I think you were gonna use that. No, that's the one, okay. Yeah. Yeah, but he wasn't, no, you can disagree in that. Yeah, but he said, you have money, you could have a name.
This part, in Colombia. You remember?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh,
But they have a cake.
we will have it, we will have him doing something. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay.
No coffee, right? That's the thing. We don't know. What? Yeah, because it's impossible for me. Glue everything. Oh, I can use something. Good, yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
I have been, yes. It needs another material. For interest. Smaller kind of paper.
Yeah, color.
I don't know, color, it could be even this, it's something different. For conflict. Yeah, now you have so much that it's cool. Ordinarily, I would tell you to cover some of the stuff, to pull it together. You sometimes going over the top, also works. Going in on
There's a message because why is the loneliness epidemic so loud?
It's gonna change the world and save the world. I truly believe that. We good, Robin, Margot, Susan, you're all good? Okay. You can always yell for me if you need me. Or put something in the chat.
Yes. Some of it is. And if I sit down, I might get stuck. Yeah. If I even want to get on. Okay. Yeah, yes, it was.
You need to put this on some new data. One of these gets.
Oh, I love her movie album. Nostalgia. Oh, you know, when I think of that, I got my glue up there. I don't think so. Much there. You need a lot of yeah. You?
A large piece of cardboard that they don't want. Oh. Yes, they're so much fun to. I did too. I had bring it along. They people that. You could do that at your house. Or mom, if you want, you could. Right. Let's. Start from scratch.
Yeah, music, go ahead. Yeah, well, I mean, realistically.
Oh, this is part of the artistic. There's nothing wrong with it.
All right.
Lots of areas. Really work. I like the rub. Play, but not in the outside. Want you to feel yes. Moving around. I want to find you more green. I must learn that there's, I just learned that there's a training. Where all they do is spin. Yes, you have to trade. Correct.
It's so crispy. Yeah, that's right.
I actually still it feels like
Are they sharing today?
All right, taking a vote. Raise your hand if you want to share. Today.
Every tomorrow.
Daniel, sorry.
That's right.
Looks like it will.
We wanted to figure out.
This one's left.
Rob will talk to you.
I'll go check on Robin in a minute. Honey, who told you?
Excuse
We
me.
helping currency.
I wonder if he likes this.
Does that sound here in a minute?
It's too.
Anyone who's new, if you want to be on the list, before you leave, write your email address down so I can add you. I feel again like.
Okay, I'm watching. No, he wants to like watch.
No,
I know, but, oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay, because I saw him in the art.
oh,
I don't even know what it is, but I didn't know. Thank you.
well done. You were very focused and working. You're welcome. More French artists. Same for
How your brother?
all day. Very nice. Okay, what we're gonna do is, Daniel wants to share. Robin, you want to share? So those of you who want to share can share. Those of you want to keep working, just do your work without talking. And if you can look up while you're working so that people who are sharing can show you their work. We're going to do both. We're going to do two things at once. So I'm going to let Daniel share first. Come on up, Daniel. And then Robin, you'll be next.
Liz, I don't have anything to show. I'll send a JPEG. I don't
Okay,
have anything to show. Okay. And I
Okay.
have to leave early. I'm sending you a chat. I'm just gonna see Daniel's thing and then I have to go.
all right.
New York. Okay.
Letting us know.
I'll do the thing or else I'm gonna wait my day.
I had to go to FedEx.
Oh, do you want to share now?
Oh, that's terrific. Beautiful.
It is Daniel's.
Daniel, I'd love it.
Beautiful.
Try to be as minimalistic as possible, and also there was that no scissors challenge.
Me too. It makes it.
It's terrific.
Mhm.
I love it.
Challenges are a great way to
I like
learn.
the fingers at the top too.
What fingers?
Can you
When she imagined.
Oh. Yeah, turn it all different directions. Nice.
Actually, I made sure to subtly make it like that. Did you notice the small things that I add on purpose?
I like it like that.
That's great. I love the middle part especially.
Mhm.
I like the black, the strong black shapes in the middle. Very gold radiating out from the center. Very powerful, David.
Mhm.
Well done.
Like I said, sometimes less is more.
Sometimes less corn. That's
Mm.
what's true. Right, Diane is next.
And then Eileen, no. She's volunteering. Eileen, yeah, I agree.
In the corner here, in the corner, it says, why is the loneliness epidemic so hard to cure? And art is really the cure, because most people think substances, like the guy in the middle with butterflies in his stomach, the way to go, but actually a serene life with your pet, walking at dusk and loving everyone. But the real cure over the rainbow is art. So when you're
Wow.
feeling lonely, create art, everyone.
Yes,
Thanks for
wow.
letting me share.
No argument from me on that one.
Okay,
Who at home? Margaret, or do you want to share?
working on something unrelated, but yeah, I'll share. It's not done. Can you see it?
Oh, it's
Oh.
great, beautiful.
Wait up, I have to pin you.
Okay,
Well done, Diane.
That's beautiful.
thank you.
Very nice.
Love
This
it.
is acrylic or watercolor?
Watercolor,
Watercolor.
watercolor.
Well done. Margot, send me a JPEG when you're finished, okay? Awesome. And someone here who wants to share.
Oh, it's not.
All right, Eileen is next. Shh. If you are cleaning, if you could do so quietly so that folks who are sharing can be heard, seen. Thank you. Right, Eileen is sharing next. Turn it towards the screen.
Very nice.
Really terrific.
I don't know who it is. Yeah.
Doesn't have to be.
That's great, Eileen.
I don't think it's good. No, it's not Hitchcock. Oh, I can't do it. All right, there are some very strong shapes in that, and nice organization of your composition. Well done. All right. Susan, do you want to share? Susan? All right, Susan is next.
Yes, it's unfinished, but
Wait up, I gotta find my mouse. Here it is.
here am I.
Right. So were you actually looking at a flowering plant? No, this is from your imagination.
Yeah, and I have a lot of card stock here from making cards,
Yes.
papers. So I just decided to go with some certain colors. I'm trying to use what I have in the house. I have so much stuff, so. Yeah.
Beautiful. I would like to see something happen with the white background.
I was thinking of some sort of paint in the background. Yeah.
Or even colored pencil.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank
Either
you.
or.
Either
Show
or.
me the JPEG when it's done. I like the strong red ochre shape of, is that a vase or whatever that shape is?
Yeah, it's a
Very-
vase. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys want to share?
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Let me give you guys the floor. Shh, shh, shh.
My 5-year-old art.
Wow, good job.
Did you make anything?
Oh, that's beautiful.
spider is here.
Spiders there. Okay.
Yikes.
Yikes.
You're gonna color more of it in when you get home?
Very cool.
Very cool.
Love the red.
Acrylic marker.
Bravo. All right, Leslie's next.
Oh, quickly, can I show mine?
Oh,
Ooh, very nice. Similar to the artist. Very nice.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Let's see red. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys are very
That's
good.
gorgeous.
Example, that's the finishing.
I like it that way also.
What, with watercolor?
Thank
would
you.
be better.
Wow. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
You're working on it.
Yeah, I'm showing only one thing. By the time she's 6.
Very nice. Nice.
Oh, very nice. Sort of the first you showed.
Oh, wow. That is wonderful.
Oh, what are you doing?
Wonderful. Beautiful.
And at the bottom there.
Wow. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Great shapes, great colors, great texture.
Teacher.
You're welcome, Esty. Student, you're welcome, student.
Student SD.
Judy, come on up. Wow.
Dark.
Wow.
Wow.
Fantastic. That is wonderful.
This is in observation July 4. But
Mhm.
meanwhile, a lot of people in the cage. So that's
Yes,
need to thinking about.
that's very powerful. Very
Oh.
powerful
Yeah, a lot of people still in the cage.
page. Yeah,
Meanwhile,
that's
so,
unbelievable. That's a really good piece.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm.
I like how you filled everything in, Judy. I like that very much, and I like how it goes back into the space.
What am I gonna do there?
Next,
Red and black. Okay.
Frankie, I forgot. Go, you're next. Bye, guys. See you next week.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, nice.
How cool is this?
Really nice.
Wow. Fantastic. Wonderful.
Really great. Really, really, really great. Excellent job.
Beautiful job.
Tamara. Is that Tamara?
No, that was
That's okay. Wasn't. I don't know who it is.
Okay. So this started out kind of like a landscape.
that's great. Fantastic.
It started out as kind of like a landscape.
Lance.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
it's picturing like a boat here,
Mhm.
maybe the moon here,
Mhm.
like a bridge and some buildings,
Mm. Really, really good.
landscape. But then I also thought that, we could turn it in different directions.
Oh yeah.
And it can be very interesting that way without, without actually looking at its representation of.
For sure. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Something black.
yeah,
Black.
uh-huh.
Thin. In a couple of different places. And
Mhm.
then you're done. I love it like it's black. It's good.
Yeah, so heighten some contrast, maybe with shadows and things. Mhm. Okay,
Great.
Where do you like it?
I like it vertically. Either that way or the other way. Like that.
Like this, right?
Honey, you want to show me?
I like that thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was like.
Honey, it's new. This is her first class. Wow.
So it's my first time, but I'm a little inspired.
Very good.
Scissors, right?
No scissors.
Very good.
Thank you.
Well done. You're just learning about composition. Go ahead. Go, show. Diana, show it.
Oh, wow.
Very shiny, huh?
It's very shiny.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
It's the laboratory. Very nice.
That's what we don't have. That's a word they don't hear often, so.
Not right at this point.
I know, Jeff.
Tomorrow, you want to share? You're not feeling it today, Janice? You want it? Not yet. Eileen shared. Alice, do you want to share?
No.
All right, let's clean up. And I will see you all next week for the next French speaking artist. Oh, a bientôt.
A bientôt.
Is this your personal pen? Yes. Okay, but all the pencils go back. No, my pen.
Yes.
Oh, okay, well, wait, I took a pen and a pencil.
All right, so a bientôt. All of those at home. Until next time, art on. And see you soon. Do art, see art, appreciate art.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Stay cool.
Yep.
Bye-bye.